In a seemingly abrupt move, the White House announcing that all 6 members of a commission that advises on architectural developments in Washington, D.C., have been relieved of their duties. The Commission of Fine Arts now set to be completely remade by Trump appointees. At the same time, President Trump is building a White House ballroom and making plans to build a giant Independence Arch across the river that could tower over the Lincoln Memorial. NewsNation's Hannah Brandt is live in the nation's capital. So, Hannah, what more do we know about these firings?
Well, Nichole, right now I'm standing right outside of the building where the Commission of Fine Arts works out of. And we're told by a source that all 6 of those members of the commission were fired in what we're told was a 2-sentence termination email. Now, I would note, and there's a fire truck passing by, so if it's a little bit hard to hear me, that's what's going on now. But I want to explain what this commission does. They're an independent federal agency that oversees architecture projects for monuments and government buildings in Washington, D.C. Now, I would say that these members that Trump fired, they were appointed by President Biden for these 4-year terms. But this turnover isn't altogether unprecedented. When President Biden was in office, he too replaced several members of the commission. And a White House official sent us a statement explaining this move, saying, quote, "We are preparing to appoint a new slate of members to the commission that are more aligned with President Trump's America First policies." But this change does come at a time when President Trump is undertaking these majorly controversial construction projects. That includes, as you said, building that massive White House ballroom, which, remember, the Trump administration demolished the east wing of the White House to make room for. Now, the Trump administration did not consult with the Commission of Fine Arts on that project and actually argued it didn't need approval at all to tear down the east wing, though it is expected to submit its ballroom plans to the National Capital Planning Commission. That's a different advisory group, which includes several Trump administration officials. The Commission of Fine Arts, though, was expected to be involved with reviewing plans for an arch that President Trump has said he wants to build. He wants to build that arch at the entrance to D.C., right across from the Lincoln Memorial. The president did unveil some models of that proposed structure at an event earlier this month, though he hasn't given specific details on the cost, on the timeline, or on the approval process for that project. Now, NewsNation has reached out to the Commission of Fine Arts for a comment on everything that's going on. We haven't heard back, but there may be a reason for that on their website. They say their office is currently closed because of the ongoing government shutdown, Nichole.
All right, Hannah Brandt live for us there in D.C. Hannah, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.